Jay Tablante, and I'm one of the Photics masters. And we're here in Clark, and we're about to go in the middle of nowhere for a cosplay shoot. So we're in the middle of Clark, and I found this is the perfect place to represent a certain stage in the game of Final Fantasy called Grand Pulse. So I thought of shooting in the middle of nowhere because when you play the game in Final Fantasy, it's the middle of nowhere. So through our good friends helping us out, we found this good location. So I shot my model, Jessica, and she portrayed Vanille from Final Fantasy. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes just sitting here on the bench and staring at nothing. So that's actually how I started laying out all the lights. So when I have it more or less in my head, I start placing the lights one at a time and given the kind of tools that I've got. Now, my favorite Photics light is always the PPL 400, and that's always served as my main light. But to make things a lot more portable, since we're shooting practically in the middle of nowhere, I had a PPL 400 and 3 Mitros flashes with me. So those Mitros flashes proved good fill lights and my highlights on the side. We were lucky for this afternoon that the sun was actually behind the model. So what I did to counter that is that I used a PPL 400 and attached the beauty dish. So I still have that nice backlit feel from the sun. At the same time, I get to see the model's face using that beauty dish. Now, given that the beauty dish gives a harsh shadow line, it gives me that illusion of bright sunlight or bright daylight effect. And then to fill up the rest of the body, I used a Mitros flash and attached a soft box on it. For this time, we used a strip box. And then to add more highlights to her on the side, behind the model on both corners, I placed one other beauty dish that's in an open bulb, and then fired it on her rim. And then the other side is on a Hydra and a regular reflector. The balance between using natural light and artificial lighting is the biggest challenge. So I needed to find good timing, whether to shoot or when not to shoot. That's the biggest challenge in shooting anything in nature. You don't have control over the sun. So no matter how much adjustment you do with the lights, you really can't fight it when the sun comes out. So what happens here is that I try to find the best time to shoot it. For this time, it's about 4 p.m., 4 to 5 p.m., when the sun is already yellow and not that harsh. So that when the sun comes out and I fire the lights, there's a good balance in bringing out that contrast. So if there's anything shooting in cosplay, or at least in the style that we try to do, is we try to bring out the contrast between the model and the background to make her pop out. The thing is with cosplay photography is you're photographing more than just a model in a costume. You're photographing a character. So in the case here is that I want to make the character pop out. And my aim is never to really make the photos look like photos. Because since they are anime characters, they're comic book characters, I want them to come as close as possible to the original medium which they came from. So in this case, I used high contrast lighting so that you get to see more defined lines and more defined color. And given the highlights, the model is brought out from the background and she looks, jumping out, larger than life, so to speak. What made this shoot work is that the portability of the lights and how easy they are to carry around it. So I could actually have my own cosplay style lights anywhere, given that's all powered by Photics.